Okay, I think we're in business. So, again, thank you everyone for joining us. It's hard to believe that we are already back here again, ready to start the next school year. The summer just seemed to fly by, at least for me and my family, and for summer camp. But we are excited to meet you and meet or see your kids again for the 23-24 school year. So just to get started, on the call with us is Jill Heimerman, who is our assistant manager, and also Nikki Logston, who is our administrative assistant. And then in addition to that, our site teams, who are not joining us tonight, but on site, we will have site leaders, which are our site supervisors, and enrichment lab leaders, which are our teachers, and then program assistants as well. So we have a large site team as well. And just a reminder to be sure to stop by and meet your site leader at Meet the Teacher at your before and after school program site. So some of our sites will be combined and students will be transported from their home school to their before and after school program site. So your site leader will be at your before and after school program site. So be sure to go to that school and meet them as well. And then the other thing I just want to mention is we're really excited because we are getting ready to turn 10. This is our 10th year of before and after school programming in the district. And so we are really excited. Double digits. We finally made double digits. That's always a big deal, at least for the kids in my house. So we're really excited about that as well. So just really quickly, and I am going to turn the microphone over to Jill and Nikki here for just a minute or two. But I know that at your sites, you get to see your site leaders and other staff regularly, but sometimes for our team, you get to either have an email or a voice, and sometimes you don't feel like you really know who we are because you don't get to see us as often. So I just wanted to take a minute for Nikki and Jill to introduce themselves, and I am going to go ahead and start. I'll start with Jill because I think Nikki's still letting some people in. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the microphone over to Jill to introduce herself and just a little bit about herself and kind of the role that she has in the program.
Well, hello, I'm Jill Heimerman, and I have been with the BASP for 6 of the 10 years, and so more than half. That's pretty exciting for me. And I have 3 children, as you can see. I have 3 teenagers in my home, 17-year-old and then 2 15-year-olds. So things are really busy. I thought I was busy when they were little, but it's pretty busy. My role is the assistant manager of the program, and I do a variety of things. I do a lot of lesson planning. I meet with our team of leadership team. I meet with our staff. Nancy and I work very closely together, same with Nikki. And I'm just really excited for another year, for year 10.
Perfect. Thank you, Jill. Nikki, would you like to introduce yourself and about the role you play?
I would love to. The people I see that have joined, I've probably either emailed or talked to, so it's kind of neat. I have been with the district for 10 years, and 9 of those 10 years I have been with our program here, and so that's pretty special to me. I feel a little bit old because we have been looking at some interested candidates to come be our staff members that literally used to be in our program. So it's kind of exciting for that. It does make you feel a little bit old, but it's kind of exciting that they want to come and be with us again. I have one daughter you probably can see. She just graduated from ISU, but I also have 4 fur babies that are also my kids as well. So I deal with all of you parents, all of the contracts, and all of the financial portion, as well as provide any type of administrative support to all of our staff members across all 10 schools. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to the general BASP email or email me directly, or the general number always comes to me as well.
Thank you, Nikki. And lastly, like I said, I'm Nancy. I'm the before and after school program manager. I have 4 children, all of whom have been in the before and after school program. So that's kind of a fun piece of this job with me. But I have been with the program for the full 10 years, was actually hired to implement the program once it moved in district. And prior to that was in a very similar role for an inner city school district in Houston, but came back home. My husband and I are both from Winterset, so came back home to be closer to family, and have just really, loved this position, love the opportunity to be able to do fun hands-on activities with kids, to see their excitement and their interest in different activities, but then also to see the friendships that they make with different students who they may not make during the regular school day. And especially for our schools that combine, it's really fun to see those kids forge friendships as well through the before and after school program. And as Nikki said, we do have, I think it was a couple of years ago, we had our first before and after school program student come back to work in the program. So that's pretty fun and exciting, that they get to see things from the different role or the different side of the coin, I guess, if you will. So anyway, so like I said, I just wanted you to have an idea of who we are when you're talking to us, because you don't necessarily always get to see us on site as much as the other staff. So for this meeting tonight, our real goals are to help ensure that you understand the purpose of our program and the operations of the program. You know where you need to drop off your child. They know what they need to do from there. And then the same goes for pickup, and you know what's happening in the program. And then also where to find answers to your questions or who to contact for help. So there's never a bad question. I think they say the only bad question is the one that was never asked. And so even if you feel like, oh my goodness, I know that they talked about that, if you have the question, feel free to send us an email or give us a call, and we will do our best to get an answer back to you. Also, for tonight's presentation, you can use the chat box if you would like to be able to submit questions. I know Nikki and Jill are both looking at that so that we can get some any questions answered that you may have. So the before and after school program is a program of Ankeny schools. And so, we do our best, just like all other departments, to ensure that we are helping to meet the district's mission. And so for the before and after school program, first and foremost, our priority is to provide a safe place for students to go before and after school. But in addition to that, we know it's before and after school. And so we want them to have fun and to provide a quality program that extends their learning through hands-on experiences. And we do that through providing what we call enrichment labs that focus on STEM, arts, character education, technology, team building, and recreation. And we also really focus on providing those meaningful, engaging experiences and those relationship building opportunities, both with staff and with students as well, and providing a positive, inclusive culture. And then again, as I said before, we want to provide a high level of customer service. And so there are some things that the staff at the site may not be able to answer. In particular, questions about registration or payments. We intentionally do not have our site staff take care of those two items, because we want to make sure that while they're on site, their focus can be on the students and ensuring that they're providing that safe, fun, quality program. So if you have questions about those two areas, then I really encourage you to reach out to Nikki so she can help you with those. So the governing agencies that we have, in addition to Ankeny Schools, we are also overseen by the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services. And so we follow the school age child care licensing minimum standards that other centers follow as well. And so kind of nuts and bolts really quickly as far as program hours. One big change, as most of you are probably aware for this year, is that we are, as a district, we no longer have late start Wednesdays. So before school every day will be 6:30 to 7:45, and after school every day will be 2:55 to 6. And then we also provide no school day camps on the individual professional learning days, as well as extended breaks and then summer. So we are a year-round program that offers programming to our families in the district. And then when we reach summer, we also have some out-of-district families that attend as well. And so most of the time, those school day camps are from 6:30 in the morning until 6 at night. The only exception to that is our fall into fall camp that we will have next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for students who are registered. That camp does close at 3:30 because of school year preparations and trying to get the buildings ready and having different activities and events within the buildings. So as far as camps are concerned, registrations for camps from the start of the school year through December opened on June 15th. And then camps from the end of or January 1st through the end of the school year were open, I believe is October 15th, but it is mid-October. And that is something different that we tried based on parent feedback this year, rather than opening registration just a couple weeks before each camp. Because there were a few more professional learning days, we had parents request if they could lock their enrollment spot in for those no school days earlier so that they knew whether or not they had to find other care for their child. So we did respond to those requests. And so like I said, this is our first year, but we have opened registration for all of the camps for the first half of the school year. And so we'll be looking for feedback again as well, at the end of the school year on that process. But it seems up to this point that it has gone well. But again, so those registrations are out there. Within the day camps, space is limited. Our staff, for the most part, we do have a few additional employees who are full-time, but our staff all work part-time hours, and so they're scheduled during the program hours, and the majority of them have other commitments during the school day. And so on those no school day camps, our enrollment is limited based on the employees who are available to work. And so that's why space is limited on those days, but we do continue to offer multiple theme days and on those camp days, enrichment labs as we do after school, but just on a bigger scale, and then also include field trips on some of those camps as well. So our students, I want to talk about our students first, and you can see on that slide, it says students in the middle of that circle, and that is really intentional because we want to ensure that all of the decisions that we make and programming that we do and our focus always keeps students at the center. And so with the before and after school program, it's not simply a place for students to be or to hang out, but it's a place where students engage and explore, create, learn, and play. And so as I mentioned, those enrichment labs and getting them engaged and learning about new interests and areas that they might have interest in that they didn't know about, and connecting those both to the real world as well as back to their school experiences. And so we will talk a little bit more about the program. We do follow research-based best practices for out of school time. And that includes having a daily schedule. So just like the students have a daily schedule in the classroom, they have a daily schedule for the after school program. In addition to kind of pulling the registration and tuition out of the site so that their focus can be on students, we do the same with lesson planning and supplies. We write all of our lesson plans at the central office and pack those supply kits at the central office. So literally when staff get them, they just have to pull them out and everything is ready for them. Because again, we want to ensure that their focus is on the students. And so within that, and I've mentioned this a few times, but enrichment labs, as well as throughout the program, students have the opportunities to experience, build, explore new skills and interests through a variety of learning styles, interact with a variety of students, and we do also use a variety of spaces throughout the building, depending on what the activity is that we're doing. So there you can see just kind of a general, not a timeline, but just kind of a big block by big block of what activities students do in the after school program. The before school program is I would say very relaxed from the sense of some students arrive right when the doors open at 6:30, and then some students might not arrive till 7:30. And so they're there for 15 minutes. I would have been a child arriving at 6:30 and I would have wanted to be left alone. So I am very sensitive to to those students, but we also have some students who are ready to go when they get there. So we have what we call Rise and Shine kits, which are a variety of activities. They can be individual, they can be played with a partner or with a group of students, but just opportunities for a variety of ways that students like to wake up, I guess, when they come to the before school program. And then oftentimes, and especially when the weather is nice at the beginning of the school year and toward the end of the school year, we have what we call gym before, which is recess, where we have students get an opportunity to go outside on the playground before school. And then students do have an option for breakfast as well. And then after school, students always start by washing their hands and eating snack. And then again, we have gym before recess. We also, for a period of time during that gym before time period, students who may have homework have the opportunity to work on that if they choose. And then, as I mentioned, we have our hands-on enrichment lab. And then at the end of the night, we have what we call adventure stations, which is kind of just a variety of different activities and choices for the students who are there at the end of the evening. And those just kind of rotate through from day to day based on student interests who are on site. So I've already talked a little bit about these enrichment labs, but you can see a picture there of one of our enrichment labs where the students are hands-on, again, providing those disguised learning opportunities where they can connect to experiences in their classroom, but also real-world experiences. And we really try to incorporate a variety of different interests and areas to help students be able to increase, kind of those 21st century skills of problem solving and critical thinking and creativity and so on. So that is a part of our program that a lot of our students really look forward to and enjoy. We know that students aren't going to love every single topic or every single activity, but we do expect them to all try because we know that the next day it might be the activity that student loves and somebody else may not be as interested. And so, like I said, we do expect students to try because sometimes they also don't know that they might like an activity because they've never experienced it. And then once they do, it's something that's kind of cool to them. So next, we're going to jump into talking about some of our staff. I mentioned that we have site leaders, we have program assistants, and we have enrichment lab leaders or teachers in the before and after school program on site. And across the board, everyone has different roles, but what they have in common is that we really look for staff who have a student-centered focus and really look to, they want to be at work. They're excited to be at work and have a desire to work with students and have fun, making sure everyone feels welcome and included. We also expect our staff to be lifelong learners and have a continued desire to learn and also to be flexible because there are different that we learn every single day, especially as we're working with small humans. Every day is different, and that's what makes this job kind of the most fun is that we get the opportunity to work with a variety of different people and learning styles and interests and that sort of thing. We also look for staff who are committed and are and it's important for them to be positive role models. We really want to ensure that you do our best that the students, that the employees who are working on site, that we're able, like I said, to build those meaningful relationships and also to be able to ensure that we have a consistent employees on site for your students to get to know and you to get to know and for the team as a whole to be able to work together. Sometimes it doesn't work out for whatever reason. But we really do when we are interviewing staff and looking at applicants, we really do look for those individuals who this isn't just a quote unquote job for them, that they really have a strong desire and interest to work with students. And we've had a great team. And so we're excited to hopefully be able to hire more for our team this year, but we have had a really great team over the past 10 years that have really made a difference in this program. And so then you can also see our staff does also receive ongoing professional learning some as a requirement of the Department of Human and Health Services, some as a requirement of our district. But it is important for us that our staff receives training, not only that they are required to do, but we also look at the professional learning that our staff need based on what's happening in the program at that time, or what things we may need to look at addressing. So again, that importance of being flexible, but also having a strong desire to learn. So where can you find things that you need to know? On our website, and some of you may have already been there, but we do have a lot of information on our program website. We really try to put as much up there as we can so that you can have it at your fingertips. But you can see the image on the left side of the screen there with the arrow pointing to it. That is the kind of the index, if you will, of the website. It will look different, obviously, if you're on a mobile device than if you're on a laptop or a desktop. So this was pulled off of a desktop, so that's why it looks this way. I did also, just so that you could easily find the very top line where it says before and after school program, before and after school handbook, underneath there, activity forms and health forms. Those forms are under that handbook heading. So you do have to click on the handbook in order to access those forms. So I wanted to make sure that you could see that there. But like I said, there is a lot of good information on there. There's a program calendar that we really encourage everyone to print off or to look at least, to know the days that we do have camp, the days when tuition is due, and different things of that nature. There's also a button on there for you to request a contract change, or if you're your plans have changed and maybe you no longer need the before and after school program, there's a form for you to fill out for that. It is any withdrawals are required to be submitted by the 28th day of the month prior in order to not be responsible for the next month's payment. So the 28th is an important date if your schedule ever changes. And then also there's a button on there if you need to add an authorized pickup person or another emergency contact. That way you can click that button and be able to just add it online, so you don't have to worry about remembering to do that. You can also add additional pickup people on site when you pick up or drop off as well. And the only thing I would say is just to remember that those individuals do have to be at least 16 years of age. So we can't have a 14 or 15-year-old sibling come and pick up from the program. They do have to at least be 16 years old. And then on there, you will see our email address for the Central Before and After School Program Office. When we send out some more information to you for this before the school year starts, every site also has a site email address that is monitored by the site supervisor. And then also every site has a site cell phone that we will also provide to you, because that's the main number that you'll call, or you can text if you have information to send to them. And then you'll see that Nikki's phone number is on there. And then just as a heads up, I always try when I send emails out to parents, I always try to start them in the subject line with BASP so that you know what that information is and where it's coming from. But we do tend to and try to send out kind of bi-weekly emails. We don't want to overwhelm your inbox, but we also want to make sure that you don't feel like, or that you feel like you know what's going on. But again, if you ever have questions, feel free to reach out. So drop off and pick up. The safety and security procedures of the Before and After School program mirror the school day. So all the building doors are locked. And again, we follow those same safety and security procedures. Most often, the main building doors are used for drop off and pickup. There are two exceptions. Southeast and Northeast. And the reason for that is that our offices used to be in those buildings. So there was a secure entry built into those two doors. And those are just more convenient, to be honest, for where our program is and where you'll pick up. So main building doors for every building except for Southeast and Northeast. And the doors for those are listed on that slide. And then for the before school program, parents or the adult dropping off is required to accompany the student in the building. They cannot be just dropped off to come in the building by themselves. That is a DHS requirement that you do have to sign the student into the program. So you'll walk them in, sign them into the program, say your goodbyes, and then at that point, a before and after school program employee will accompany the student to the activity space. So similar to what you either have heard or will hear from your building principals, parents are not able to come through those secure entry doors to walk their child back to their classroom or to the activity space. And so our employees know the importance of those goodbyes and really helping your child to get engaged and feel comfortable with where they're at and what they're doing. And so again, if you are a parent whose child is going to another school for the before and after school program, I really encourage you to feel free to go to that school during Meet the Teacher. That way they're more comfortable with what they're coming into and you can meet the site leader and kind of see where things are. That tends to be really helpful. After school, students whose program is at their home school are greeted by BASP staff in the designated location. And again, we will be sending that site-specific information out to parents here in the coming days. In most cases, that is the cafeteria where students meet the before and after school program staff. For those who are being bused to a site, you got a little bit of information in the email that was sent out this weekend, but we will again send a follow-up with more specific information. I think that maybe Jill mentioned this in the comment, but every school does it a little bit differently, but rest assured that for sure the first couple of weeks of school, there are lots and lots of adults, both when you're dropping off and when you're picking up and when buses are picking up and dropping off, to really ensure that everyone is getting kids where they need to go from the time they leave you until they get back to you. And so I will be sending some more specific information out to parents about the specific plan for your school, because I want to make sure that the principal and I have had an opportunity to really solidify that, and then I will send that out. But again, like I said, just rest assured that there are a lot of adults to help ensure that that process goes smoothly. The other thing I would just mention is that in the event, so we do expect that students are being efficient with their time and not messing around after school after the bell rings, that they are making sure they're getting directly from their classroom to get on the bus for the before and after school program, because those buses are on other routes with other students. And so they have to leave. And if a student does miss the bus because they're not getting themselves there, then the building will call and you'll have to go pick up your child from the building, because at that point the bus has moved on to the rest of their route and we don't have a way of transporting. So just really encourage and remind your child of the importance of going straight from their classroom to the place where they need to get on the bus so that that doesn't happen. Also, if we haven't heard from you, and this goes for all parents, if we have not heard from you that your child will be absent, or if they weren't absent from school, because we check that roster as well, then we will be contacting you to let you know that they're not with us. We want to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be and that they're safe. But that kind of information can be emailed or sent as a text as well to the site cell phones. But the importance of communicating when a child is not going to be at after school is really, really important, because the first thing we do is make sure that we have all of your children accounted for, because we want to make sure they're where they're supposed to be and they're safe. You are welcome to let us know if your child's not going to be at before school, but that piece isn't quite as important, because we are assuming that they are safe with you if they are not at the building with us before school. So that's not quite as important as letting us know as after school. Also, if you pick up your child before 4 o'clock, then you will need to call the site cell phone to let us know you're there, and then one of our employees will walk your child up. We staff the office. And so after 4 o'clock, then you will use the A phone, which is the button that you push to be let inside of the building from 4 to 6. But prior to that time, all of our staff is back with our students. And so you'll have to call the site cell phone for assistance. Also, every day that you pick up or anyone else on your authorized list picks up, you are required to show a photo ID, again, for your child's safety, and then also to sign your child out of the program. So visitors, we encourage parents to visit our program. As a district, we do ask that you wait until after the first 2 weeks of school so that we can get the routines down, expectations down, so students know where they're going and what they're doing and how they get there. We also encourage visitors to limit their time to 30 minutes. But when parents visit, parents are always welcome to visit. You do need to check in at the front office and provide your state-issued ID so it can be scanned through Raptor. For those of you who are not familiar with Raptor, that is a system that ties to the National Sex Offender Registry. And so when that ID is scanned through Raptor, if there is any concerns, they will alert us so that we can handle those appropriately. If there is someone besides a parent who requests to visit the program, maybe grandma, grandpa, or someone else, then we will require that you give us permission to have them visit the program, because we want to make sure that we're respecting all of those boundaries and things that are in place. So if it's parents are welcome all the time. If it's someone who is not a parent, then we will just check in with you to make sure that's okay. And then if you ever want to volunteer for the Before After School program, attend field trips, you are required to follow the district volunteer guidelines. And so that information is on the district website. We've talked a little bit about attendance and how we do that. In addition to that, we also have what we call an alternate activity form. So some schools will do Girls on the Run, or they might have band lessons, or there might be a teacher that a student is helping in their classroom after school. Any of those things and those activities that happen within the building after school or before school that you want your child to attend, we are more than happy for them to attend those activities. We, again, just want to make sure we know where they are and that there's clear communication between you as the parent, our staff, and then also whoever the employee is that is working with them in the building, so that your child gets from point A to point B and everybody has them accounted for. So we just ask parents to fill out that alternate activity form. It just is a good communication tool. It tells us what's going on, who is responsible for your child, and when they're going to be doing that, so that everyone is on the same page. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we know you're paying for our program, and we want to make sure that your child's where you want them to be, because sometimes, kids are there after school and they may get asked to help with an activity or a project in a classroom or something like that, which is a great opportunity. But at the same time, we want to make sure if you want them to be in the program and not doing that, that's happening as well. So as far as health safety, we do not have a nurse on site for the before and after school program. The building nurse is on site during their regular contract hours. Typically that's 7:30 to 3:30-ish. And so we do follow the district and the Iowa Department of Public Health, as well as the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services guidelines for exclusion and other illnesses. And so just give some additional information there as far as, similar to the school day. If a student has a fever, they do have to be 24 hours fever free without medication before returning. The same goes for diarrhea and vomit. If you are called for pickup, we do ask that you pick up within 45 minutes or send someone else who's an authorized pickup to pick up your child. Yes, we want them to move on out of the site because they are ill, but more importantly, we want your child to be comfortable. And because we don't have a nurse on site, we don't have the nurse's office available. Oftentimes, they don't have a soft cot or bed to lay down on. And so we want them to be comfortable. So we just ask that you come within 45 minutes. If there is any kind of head injury, and we consider that to be from the shoulders up, no matter how big or how small, we do call the parent to let you know that your child has been injured. Oftentimes, we're going to start off by saying everybody's okay. There's no reason for you to be worried, but we are required to call for a head injury. It really just gives you a heads up and gives you the details, because what an employee may think you wouldn't want to come pick up for, you may feel differently. So we want to give you that opportunity to do that, and to let you know what's going on so that you're aware. Of course, if there was any other major accident or incident aside from the head, we would call for that as well. But the head injuries are ones that we call regardless. I also encourage you, especially if if your child is an incoming kindergartner, and if you know your child sometimes doesn't get to the bathroom as quickly as they need to because they're busy and just not thinking about that, to provide a change of clothes in their backpack. We do have a very limited supply of extra clothes. And so if we don't have any clothes and your child has an accident, you will be required to either come and bring them clothes or to come pick them up, because we are not allowed to keep them in soiled clothing on the site. And so I just encourage you to have an extra set of clothes in their bag, so that way we don't have to worry about that. As far as medication administration, it is limited. We do only have certain staff who are trained to administer medication. For non-emergency medications, we do ask for you to work with your physician and the school nurse to administer before 3:30. If that's not possible, we certainly understand that. But again, we prefer that because that is our busiest time there from after school until about 3:30. And since we still have a healthcare professional on site with the school nurse, if they're able to administer that, then that's our preference. But we certainly understand that there are times that students have to have medication at a different time, and that is okay. As far as emergency medications are concerned, if your child has any kind of emergency health need, we are, and if their emergency plan requires or includes an emergency medication, then we are required to have that medication on site. So if your child has some kind of emergency health concern, you will be required to complete an emergency action plan. And as well as meet with either myself or Jill or the on-site team, depending on what the situation is, to train employees how to administer medication, and most importantly, to determine if we're safely able to care for your child. Hopefully, if that has been the case, we've already communicated with you. But for things like inhalers and EpiPens, those types of medication, our staff are trained in that use in their first aid training. But if you have a more unique medication or need, then we do ask that you help to train our staff and ensure that we know that we can safely care for your child. All medications that come to the program as well as the school also require a request for giving medication at school form. We do have to have separate medication provided to the before and after school program and the school nurse. And it does have to be provided in its original prescription container with the prescription label attached, and it cannot be expired. So I know my child, I have children who have used EpiPens as well as inhalers. And so I know especially the EpiPens can be really pricey. And so if you come in a pack of 2 and you want one at home and one with the school nurse, then that becomes tricky. So we have had situations where our site staff have checked in the EpiPen and checked out the EpiPen on a day-to-day basis so that parents aren't having to buy another set of EpiPens. And so if that's your situation, we're happy to do that. But at the end of the day, we are required to have that medication on site when your child is there, if that is part of their emergency healthcare plan. In the event you are not willing to provide that medication to our site staff, or an updated medication if it is expired, then your before and after school program enrollment would at least be suspended until you are able to get your physician to sign the emergency action plan, letting us know that they are comfortable and that with your child not having access to that medication while they are with us, and that the plan that's in place without the medication is sufficient. Again, that's just for your child's safety. Secondly, if your child has any kind of special dietary need, our snacks are provided by the Nutrition Services Department in the district. And so there is a diet modification form on the website. If you have already filled out that diet modification form for school lunches, you do not need to fill it out again. It just needs to be filled out one time because our nutrition dietitians already have that form, and they get the list of our kids that are in the program as well, and we'll cross-reference that. We want the before and after school program to primarily, as I've said, be safe for every student and also be fun for every student. And so we do expect students to be kind to others, to follow our PBIS guidelines, which are the same guidelines of being safe, respectful, and responsible that they learned during the school day, and also to participate in our daily schedule of activities. As we mentioned, we know every child's not going to love everything, but we do expect them to try and to be respectful of others. The before and after school program handbook has a section on our response to incidents as they, when they occur. At the end of the day, it's really important that all student needs are communicated to staff, and also that our team and parents are working together to try to help that child be successful. We want to make sure that, again, that not only one student is safe, but all students are safe. And so we really do our best to work with all students and have really good partnerships with different teachers and administrators in the building. But sometimes there might be a situation that requires our team to call parents for pickup. And if that happens, please know that typically our staff have been trying to help that student or de-escalate that situation for at least 20 or 30 minutes, and we are not seeing any change in that. And so again, for that student's safety and the safety of all students, that's why we're calling for support of the parent to pick up and then to be able to make a plan moving forward. Unfortunately, we don't have the number of staff that are present in a building during the school day. And so whereas a situation might be addressed by a team of individuals during the school day of like 5 people that are helping with the situation, we may only have one employee to be able to address a situation. And so again, like I said, we really want to make sure that all students are safe. And so if we are calling, then we really appreciate your support in coming and then problem solving so we can help all students be successful. So what's on the menu for the snack? We've talked a little bit about this, and I've seen a couple of these questions pop up, so I will remember next year to move them up in the presentation. Breakfast is not included with tuition. It is available to purchase using your nutrition services account. We also do have some students who will bring their own breakfast in with them, kind of like a sack breakfast or whatever, to eat in the before school program, and that is completely fine as well. So up to you, or some students eat before they come to the program. So whichever you choose is fine. We do have some students that eat at home, and then, the breakfast looks really yummy at the school. And so then they eat before school as well. And after that happens about 5 or 6 times, parents are like, what is going on here? My student's nutrition account is so low. So if we're not going to deny a student to go and eat breakfast. If we just say, who's eating breakfast today? They raise their hand and they get in line to wash their hands and eat breakfast. But we also do completely understand if you've already fed them breakfast at home. And so then you're choosing for them not to eat breakfast at school. If that's the case, just let our staff know so that we're all on the same page, and can remind your child that, hey, mom said or dad said that you already ate breakfast at home. So, we're not going to get in the breakfast line today. After school snack is included with tuition. The menu is developed by the Nutrition Services Department, and it is in line with the Department of Health and Human Services snack nutrition guidelines. I also completely understand that sometimes that's not enough for some kids. So students have the option, a couple of options. They are welcome to just eat the before and after school program snack. They are welcome to eat our snack and bring an additional snack from home, or they are welcome to just eat a snack from home. So the only thing we ask is that they not bring gum or candy as a snack from home. Excuse me. But if they need an additional snack or an alternate snack and you want to send it from home, you are more than welcome to do so. Again, those special diet modifications, if your child has a diet modification need, please fill out that form as soon as possible. That gives nutrition services the opportunity to be able to make those adjustments and get what you need. But if you have not heard back from nutrition services and your child is not able to eat a certain snack, please send a snack from home until those accommodations are discussed with nutrition services. That way your child has a snack. Also, just as a reminder that Ankeny Schools is a peanut-friendly district. And so what that means is that students can bring nut-based products to school. We know that the snacks provided by the Nutrition Services Department are nut-free. So if students do not have a nut allergy and they bring snacks from home, we do have a snack from home table where all students sit that bring a snack from home and don't have a nut allergy, just so we can ensure the safety of all students. Also, the snack menus are posted on our website. I do see we have August up there, but I do not recall if that includes just summer camp or if it also includes the start of the school year. If it does not include the start of the school year, then we should be getting that really shortly from Nutrition Services, and we'll get that added up there for you. Electronics. We do use electronics to enhance learning experiences, or it could be used as an incentive or a reward. There are very few buildings that have a computer lab left in them, so we don't use that as like an incentive or a reward as much anymore. But we do use electronics for different enrichment labs and things of that nature. However, personal electronic devices, including smartwatches, phones, tablets, whatever they may be, are not allowed to be used in the before and after school program. Staff will first ask students to stop using them and to put them away. If that doesn't happen, then they will put them in the front office for you to pick up when you come. And the same goes for Chromebooks. For those grade levels of students who have a Chromebook checked out to them to take to and from school, they are only to be used for homework purposes and only by its assigned student. If students are not following those guidelines, then they will not be able to use them in the program either. But, at the end of the day, we want to make sure students are safe on electronics, and we don't have the staff to be able to stand over the shoulder of multiple students when using electronics. And so that's why the Chromebooks are included in that. But the personal electronic devices, those are something that no students are able to use in the program, similar to the school day. So I mentioned a couple of times we're hoping to add more staff to our team. If you know someone that would be a great addition to our team, we do start hiring at 16 years old. So we have some program assistants who are high school students that may be in teacher academy or looking to move into the classroom and the world of education as they continue to progress down their life path. But also we have individuals who may not be either of those things and just enjoy being around children. If you know someone like that, please encourage them to apply. In addition to those program assistant positions, we also have leadership positions and teaching positions available. Our teachers in the before and after school program are not required to be certified teachers, but it's a really great opportunity, like I mentioned, for those individuals who might be going to college to become a classroom teacher, or even we've had some individuals who are going to be pediatric nurses. It gives them an opportunity to work with children, to really encourage them to apply to work for the before and after school program. We have waiting lists, and we hate having waiting lists. We also hate having to combine schools if we don't have to. But at this point in time, it is strictly due to staffing. So as I mentioned, if you know anyone who would be a great fit for our team, please, please, please encourage them to apply as soon as possible. So next steps, we know a lot of students have different plans for the first day of school. You may be picking up or whatever that entails. So please let us know if your child won't attend on the first day or the first few days of school, so that we are not looking for your child, especially for our new students and at our sites that may have new staff. we don't know who we're looking for necessarily on the first couple of days. And so for student safety, it is so, so helpful that you just let us know ahead of time. So we are not trying to track down your child, that they are or are not with you. And then also, as we mentioned, if there are other questions, there's the Central Before and After School Program office email. You are always welcome to reach out there. We'll make sure someone on our team gets back to you. I do also ask for a little bit of patience and grace as we move through the month of August, because this is the time that we get a lot of parent inquiries and phone calls. And so sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to get back to someone than normal. So, but you are encouraged and welcome to email there or to call. And then shameless plug again, we are hiring. Please, please, please encourage people to apply. And so I will ask Nikki and Jill, you've been monitoring the chat. Is there anything that we need to answer still?
Can you just clarify the milk? Is milk for snack included in the snack, or?
Yes. So
Okay.
the students receive a choice of chocolate or white milk along with their snack every day.
But if it's a full day camp, then they pay for the lunch milk, correct?
Yes. So
Okay.
good question. So our full day camps, nutrition services is not open on no school days. So on full day camps, we do provide a morning and an afternoon snack on full day camps, but lunch is not included. Students do need to bring a sack lunch. They do have the option to get milk for lunch if they choose, and then we'll just bill your nutrition services account that 55 cents that nutrition services collects for milk as well. So you don't need to send any money. You would just see that charge get billed to your nutrition services account if they chose milk. They don't have to choose milk. Are there any other questions we still need to answer? Nikki, I saw one pop up in the, okay, you're going to email Stephanie. Perfect. All right. Well, again, please feel free to reach out if you do have questions. We so appreciate you jumping on here tonight. And we really, really, really look forward to meeting your children and getting to know you as well. I had the opportunity to be at Crocker all last year, also as a site leader. And so it was really fun. I count them as my kids now too. And I'm excited to get to see them again. And so we really look forward to getting the start of the school year going. But in the meantime, if you have questions, concerns, any of that, please feel free to reach out. Thank you very much. Have a good night.